Where do we go when we die? Do we pass on immediately, or do we hover in some kind of a transitional state in an attempt to work out some unresolved issues? No one knows. We're at a place called Vista Community Hospital, which is where we shot a majority of our movie. We're going to be meeting a guy named Richard Burney, who is a paranormal researcher, and he's going to be answering some questions and give us a tour of a building that is apparently haunted. Come along. Hey, Richard.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming over. I appreciate
thank
this.
you. Welcome.
Richard, thanks a lot for coming. I know you're a paranormal researcher, and we're curious. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of this place?
Linda Vista was originally called the Santa Fe Railroad Hospital, built by the Santa Fe Railroad for the employees in 1904. In 1900, the Santa Fe Railroad purchased 5 acres here and built this amazing place, to meet their medical needs. It had a state-of-the-art medical staff that specialized in severe industrial accidents such as amputations. It is now known today as Linda Vista Hospital, and known for a lot of mystery going around in the hallways.
And you're a paranormal researcher. I'm curious about your experience or your background.
In 2005, I founded the Boyle Heights Paranormal Project. It's a local group that researches and documents paranormal activity in the city of Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And we are creating a database of the paranormal oral history of the cultural ghost stories.
So we're standing right now on I guess on the second floor?
Yeah, this is the second floor, the original administration floor.
Let's take a little look around, see what we can see. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I recognize this is, I think, where we did the police headquarters scene.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this was the headquarters scene. It was fixed up pretty cool, too.
It's totally different now. It's absolutely gorgeous in a way.
Yeah, it still has some of the old, the original woodwork, some of the Art Deco framework and stuff, and main entrance to the hospital itself, just marble on the inside.
Any weird stuff in here that happened?
Well, you know what? There's actually been a couple of things that have happened in this lobby. I personally, the first time that I witnessed an anomaly here was an apparition of a gentleman. One day I was mopping here and I noticed through the corner of my eye, and so I kind of just looked over towards that direction and saw a gentleman standing in the doorway. So as I approached him, he walked away from me, and I tried to cut him off, and when I went through the other door, he was gone. But it was a pretty profound experience because I became physically ill when I experienced that.
I'm getting slightly nauseous right now. Okay, let's say it is a spirit, why would it still be here? I mean, why wouldn't it move on? And why does some stay and why does some move on? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's the mystery. We're in a constant adventure trying to find out that answer. We're depending on your philosophical outlook, there are people who think that the spirits are bound here because they have unfinished business.
Unresolved business.
Unresolved.
It's exactly what our film is about. I mean, it's about these characters that it's unfinished for them. They have to take care of some business before they can let go.
Through my cultural outlook on it, that we walk side by side with the spirit world. So
we walk side by side with the spirit world.
The consensus on what a lot of people think of, they come into this place and they're like, we don't get this bad feeling. We just get the feeling that there's energy here.
In our film also, one thing we explore is the ability to communicate with these people, that these spirits, if you will. They can scream or yell loud enough so that we can actually hear them, or there's a way for them to break through the barrier of life and death, and we can communicate with them.
Yes. Yeah. There's I've seen researchers on actual investigations in insane asylums, mental hospitals, abandoned hospitals, where they actually are screaming out loud for the spirit world to, could you please talk a little louder because it's very hard for us on this side to hear you.
Is there an area in the hospital, and I don't mean to be gruesome, but where they're like a hot spot, where there might have been more death or more turmoil or suffering or something? Not that I want to, I'm just curious, because that might be a place where you'd get more phenomena.
Yeah, one of the, what we call a hotspot is the first floor of the hospital, which is the surgical floor, where most of the surgical suites are located. So there was a lot of surgery down there. The actual pathology, the old morgue is down there too. The yellow room down on the first floor has been documented as having the most deaths in the hospital. We can go down there, and it's pretty well known for some great EVPs.
EVPs is electronic voice phenomena.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go check that out.
Okay, let's go.
You first. I think I had my colonoscopy there, actually, now that I think about it. Okay.
Well, this room right here was, we call it the yellow room. It was actually one of the very first triage rooms.
Why would they call it the yellow room?
Yeah, I know, huh? Why? Yeah, it's, you know, it's got the original tile, and it's a favorite amongst photographers. And
Triage, so they would come here if they were horribly mangled and...
Yes, if they had severe, depending on the severity of their injuries, they would come here and advanced life-saving techniques would be used on them. And if they survived the yellow room, they would go on to the surgical suites. If they didn't survive the yellow room, they would be rolled across the hallway to the morgue.
To the morgue?
Yes, to the morgue.
To the morgue, okay.
Yeah, let's go. It's right across the hallway.
Okay. This is the original morgue?
Yes, this is the refrigeration units, pathology table, that's where any of the autopsies and long-term storage of the bodies were kept in here.
I think I just wet myself. You know, it's very creepy looking now. There's like I see red everywhere and everything. Is this dressed for a film or?
Yeah, it was actually dressed for a production a couple of weeks back. It just hasn't been cleaned up yet.
What are like the most famous films that have been shot here?
Where we have Pearl Harbor, End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a chapel scene, and Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
I actually did a pilot here in 1990 called Critical Condition with one of the stars of our film, Kevin Sorbo. I think it was the first year it was open for filming. It was 1990 it opened for filming?
1991.
So there wasn't actually any dying in this room, there was death.
Yes.
You know, when you do a movie like we just did and you're around this kind of stuff, it just gets you thinking, you know? It just gets you thinking about what happens and how easy a journey it is, especially when people talk about this restlessness that you sense here.
Yes, you come into this place at any time of the day and you feel it right off the bat. It's pretty evident.
Is it okay if we leave this room right now?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go.
You know, and I've played a couple of these coroners in different movies and stuff, but this is the only one where I actually had to deal with, you know, with a slab of meat. This right in here, okay, this is where I had most of my scenes, and in this room. And this was an old surgical?
Yeah, this is a former surgical suite.
Let me ask you a question, Richard. Many people have died here, yet only a very small percentage seem to have stuck around. How is that selection process made?
I personally believe that, you know, I have a spirit guide, and you know, he directs me in the way I have to go. It keeps me safe, you know, and facilitates for me, you know.
Right. I want to show you something interesting. These are fake. These are set up as, I guess, fake. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is, you see in here this space? A place like this goes for $340 a night in Japan. You know, for a hotel.
Yeah.
So I'm just kidding. No. Somebody told me about a sub-basement.
Yes, that's actually where the old, it's the boiler room incinerator area. It's where the cremations went on, and so
well, I don't really think we should go there unless you do. Do you think we should go down there? Have you been down there?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. It's a great place.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's go.
I'll lead the way.
Oh, okay, you lead the way, and I'll just see you. I'll see you later. I feel like I'm going through the tunnel to death.
Yeah.
Let's
hope we see a white light, huh?
Yeah.
So this is the boiler room incinerator area. Quite a few movies were made here. Nightmare on Elm Street, Zombie Strippers.
Didn't they do a Cheerios commercial here? You know, when we were doing this film, the director was talking about these 3 levels. This is the level that we're on, you know, which is life. And then there's the level of transition, where spirits are hovering before they cross over to the final level, the 3rd level. Because in our movie, at the end, the character goes towards the light, which we have to assume is either heaven or hell, or, you know, I mean, there's a lot of religious stuff all kind of interweaved through a lot of paranormal theories and things. I mean, what's your take on all that stuff?
I like to think that, you know, when we cross over, our loved ones are there waiting for us, you know.
Right.
And so I try not to give too much thought into the heaven and hell thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I want to stay with the thought that when it's time for me to cross over, all my family members who have crossed over before me are there waiting for me.
In this particular room, we didn't see spirits pass over because anybody who was brought down to this room had already passed. So we're saying goodbye just to their vessel. But Bob Dylan calls it a spacesuit, you know,
right.
that we just wear for a brief period of time, and then the energy that is us moves on. So this is like a place where they just burnt vessels and flesh and blood vessels, and not really anything to do with the energy of who we are.
Right.
I see there's ovens over there.
Yes.
Now, was this originally a pizza place, or what's the deal here?
Yeah, this was actually the boiler room. It supplied the heat and the steam for the facility itself. Also, it was an incinerator where it incinerated the rubbish.
Right.
And it actually, half of it acted as the cremation ovens.
When we were making the movie here, the transportation guy took me down here and he showed me the ovens, and there were ashes in the oven.
Yes.
Now, those aren't original ashes from anybody.
Well, I don't think anybody has actually did any testing,
right.
But there are ashes, and from what I understand from the caretaker who was here for over 30-some years, it's actually mixed with incinerated rubbish and, you know.
I heard that you are not allowed to see the fourth floor.
Yes, the fourth floor is usually off limits. I'll take you.
Awesome. Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. People have heard the accounts of the living caretaker who was on the fourth floor one afternoon, and he says he was assaulted by a mean spirit, a mean entity. Pretty real tough guy, and he was pretty shook up after the experience. So they just basically shut the doors and said, you know what, it's not anybody up there.
This is very odd and macabre. You know, I don't like this. I don't like it here. I mean, it's a little creepy. You mean to tell me they closed this floor down because there was an attack by an apparition? That
Yes.
was the reason it was closed down?
Yes.
Huh.
A few months back, we opened it up and we set up a camera at the far end of the hallway. And as it was filming, I was giving a briefing to a group of investigators. And when we played back the tape, we actually heard the voice of a small child saying, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. And that right there was kind of chilling because there were no children with us that night.
Richard, I want to thank you. You've been a great guide and taken the time to show us around. It's been a real treat, and it's been very interesting and revealing.
No, thank you for coming out. Thank you. It's great meeting you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Richard.